What's up everyone, Dan here, Crypto Capital Venture, October 19th, 2018. I do believe Bitcoin and Litecoin are going to break their formations. I mean, I don't even believe it. I think it's a guarantee. And it's very rare that we can have guarantees when it comes to technical analysis. But we're going to look at it. I mean, we're approaching crazy consolidation within multiple formation patterns, both on short-term, mid-term, long-term. And it looks like even if it just doesn't do anything, we're gonna break out of formations one way or another. My take, if you're interested, is that it's going to do something. And we're gonna talk about that in this video. So this will be a technical analysis video. Obviously, I'm gonna give it just a couple minutes to get started. So if you're a replay viewer, hit that timestamp in the pinned comment below, and you can go right to the technical analysis aspect of the video so you don't waste any time. But yeah, if you're looking at the screen right now, if you're a replay viewer or a live viewer, just look at it. Look at the consolidation within Bitcoin. And what's crazy is on TradingView, this chart really does it. Look at this. Since going back to December, man, we're just consolidating like no other. What's up, Tech Lords? Binky Demoler, thanks, man. Appreciate it. Welcome. I hope you have a better day tomorrow. You don't seem like you're in a great mood. What's up, Benjamin7? What's up, Perosi, Smooth Talking Hank? That's some beautiful, Binky Demoler. That's some beautiful consolidation. It really is. It really is. And we're going to talk about it in this video. We're going to talk about Litecoin too. You can see Litecoin on the screen doing some craziness. This wedge might be, we might be in here a little bit, but we're going to talk about that in a little bit. I know I didn't do a video yesterday. I've been extremely busy. I've been like nonstop. There's not enough hours in the day. And I do want to just throw this out there. I posted on Twitter yesterday. I said, I basically just posted that I'm hiring a junior recruiter for Crypto Capital Venture. And I got so many awesome responses. I have a ton of emails to go through. I thought maybe I'd get one or two people interested. And I have so many people that have messaged me and I just have to go through everybody. And if you're out there, I promise I will get to you and apologize for the delay. Today has been a crazy day. I'm going to try and definitely just relax this weekend. So enough of that. Let's just jump into the charts. I see Rob in there. Rob from the East Coast LTC team. They're having a meetup tonight, and I wish I could have made it, but I'm like just wrapping up my day right now, basically. And I'm wrapping up this day with this video. So shout out to East Coast team that's doing their thing up in North Jersey. Miss you all. So here we go. Bitcoin. Here it is. Bitcoin. We're going to start with Bitcoin because, as always, we're going to pivot to Litecoin. Bitcoin is the foundation to everything in this trading arena right now. So a few things going on, and this is mainly what we're looking at on the short term. We have this descending triangle. And speaking of descending triangles, I started this video off with this weekly descending triangle formation on Bitcoin, and really it's what everybody's looking at, right? It's just this huge triangle that everybody's looking at. And I want to point out something in terms of triangles like this, as well as even falling wedges. They signal something very important, especially in this market like Bitcoin and Litecoin, this long-term uptrend. These types of formation patterns signal something very important, which is the bears getting tired, the bears getting worn out, especially on a long-term chart like this. This isn't a zoomed in short-term chart right now. We're on the weekly, and you can just see, and this is a really bullish sign. It's a bullish signal in this continued uptrend for Bitcoin, which is to say the bears have failed. The bears really have failed in terms of breaking this bottom. And the question is, and we're getting very close to the apex here. The question is, will they fail again? Will support hold? And that's really what nobody knows. But I think I'm pretty sure most of the market, most of you in here, I would say, think that we're going to break up and out. It's just kind of the general sentiment. Call it hope, I don't know, but many people are convinced that that $6,000 area of support is where we're at and where we're going to stay. And from here, it's just golden, especially with all these things happening going into November, December. So what's up, Drew Blood? Thanks, Adam Taylor. I appreciate that. So here we are. I have, this is just me. This is what I'm looking at. I'm obviously starting on the short term, and, short term, we're still in the daily chart. This goes back to September, which we've talked about on this channel, but we're really getting to kind of a key area of this triangle on the short term, which kind of coincides with the bottom of this midterm symmetrical triangle that we've also been talking about. This purple symmetrical triangle really plays into how we've really done most of our videos, which is basically just signaling through the Fibonacci these lower highs that formed this in the first place. But it's taken some patience, but we're finally here, which is to say we've gotten the consolidation, right? We're not playing anymore with margins within a huge formation of 30-40%, right? Right now, our margins are getting very tight, and we're talking about very tight and short-term formations, which is this white descending triangle, and then very tight and even these midterm formations, which even a midterm, we're talking months here, go back to June. So the title of this video wasn't meant to be like clickbait or anything. We're really going to break one way or the other very soon. What's interesting to see is you can see a majority of the time as of recently, we've been trading towards the bottom of the midterm, the purple, and the bottom of the short-term white triangle. So what I'm pretty like glued on right now is to see what happens with this pink short-term triangle, because if we break that, we're really going to be testing the $6,000 area again, and I want to see if we can hold above that, because here's our long-term wedge that we've talked about the other day, and the question is that I have, and I'm bringing up in this video, is a 20% market dip to test the bottom of that wedge in the cards. Could that be the final dip, right? The final blow to Bitcoin before we resume in this long-term uptrend? And for Bitcoin, as of now, that looks like around $5,000 if that happens. So that's just on the downside. I just want to throw that out there. But let's kind of pivot over to really where we are today as of right now. And really, we're just going to use this shorter term 4-hour chart to look at it. So here's that white triangle that we were just looking at. And for me, I'm looking at some pretty basic key areas. I'm looking at the top trend line of the triangle, and I'm looking at the bottom area of the triangle as well. So we're, again, very tight margins. You can see we're trading right in the middle, and it's like, I don't know, let's just see real quick because I'm kind of curious. So from where we're trading within this triangle, we're literally 2% from the upside and like 2 to 3% from the downside. There's little margin. So we're going to test one of these areas soon. And I think since we're really approaching 75% to the apex of this short-term triangle, I think we're going to be breaking up. And then we can really start talking about the key areas that we have been looking at for the mid to longer terms, which is to say this Fibonacci channel we've been watching. And the Fibonacci channel is basically the that previous swing, that lower high to the swing low. And there we go, the 786 to 618. I know I've been talking about it a lot. I'm sure there's probably a lot of you that are bored with just looking at these lower highs and these Fibonacci channels. But like, we haven't tested any key supports or resistances for so long now, and it kind of gets impossible to talk about anything new in terms of technical analysis other than just we sit back and wait. But YouTube doesn't like that. YouTube doesn't like me to just sit back and wait and not make content. So I gotta keep it fresh. I gotta keep talking about this. We gotta keep tracking it. And honestly, I'm tracking it anyway. I'm always pulling out my phone because the moment will come where we do break out of these areas. So on the short term, right now, that top of the triangle, like 2% away, is literally like $6,500. And then the bottom of the triangle, right around $6,100. So those are kind of the key areas to look for. In terms of how you want to measure that up against Litecoin, there's some definite synergy happening between the two, which is good to see. So Litecoin on the daily chart, as you can see, really trading within it's a pretty large wedge, falling wedge right now. And within that wedge, you can see there's this possible inverse head and shoulders within the wedge. And this is basically what everybody wants to happen, is a nice little breakout, a confirmation of the reverse head and shoulders. Will that happen? Time will tell, but there's some interesting things to look at. So we asked that question, is a 20% market dip possible in Bitcoin? So I had this 20% market dip to the bottom of this wedge for Bitcoin. And you can see that brings us to around, as of now, $40 or $5,000. So 20% market dip to $5,000. I really want to translate to what that could possibly mean for Litecoin on the downside, and then we'll talk about the upside for Litecoin. So on the downside, and I have 20% at that wedge, but I don't think it is. I think it's below the wedge. So 20% on the downside, so that would be just below the wedge. So $41. So if Bitcoin decides it's going to test that long-term falling wedge that it's in, right, that we've tracked, which is totally a possibility. We can't write this off right now with this blue, and that blue is hard to see, but here's the blue falling wedge that we're talking about. Within that blue wedge, you can see Bitcoin is kind of like in the middle right now. So it is totally possible that we break to the downside, touch the falling wedge at the bottom again, similar to here, similar to here, similar to here, for a new lower low, and then bounce off of it, right? We can be in this pattern for a little bit. $6,000 doesn't have to be the bottom for Bitcoin. If you're like emotionally attached to that thought that $6,000 is the bottom for Bitcoin, then you should probably just try and detach yourself from that thought, because that could get you in trouble if Bitcoin decides to follow along this long-term formation, which is this long-term wedge of lower highs and lower lows. Totally possible. Also why a huge area for me in accumulation, huge accumulation for me personally, is huge to me, might be small to somebody else. So it's huge to me, $5,500 and below. So the bottom of this long-term wedge is like a beautiful area for me for so many reasons. It's even tradable, right? That's not financial advice. I'm not saying go trade it if we go down here, but I would, if we got down here, I could see a nice little bounce right off there, and we could be testing, $6,000, $6,400 like very quickly. So just keep that in mind in terms of if we break down below $6,000, it's not the end of the world. So, but let's just say we do. Let's say we test the bottom of this wedge on the downside for Litecoin. What does that look like? Again, a $41 Litecoin, and that would have us breaking out of this wedge currently in the formation that is on your screen. So on the upside, some interesting things going on, which is to say we have the 50 EMA, this stinking 50 EMA for Litecoin, which has proved a disastrous area of resistance for months and months and months. What's it go back to? May, I believe, in this long-term downtrend. That 50 EMA, like we just can't break above it. I remember mid to late September, we almost broke above it. We didn't hold, and we needed to hold. And then we wicked above it back in early September. It just says it hasn't happened, right? And I'm almost convinced that it's not going to happen, obviously, until we're out of this bear market. So you can see the 50 EMA, for it to happen, for us to trade above it, first of all, you're going to just see a leveling out of the 50 EMA, kind of sideways. And then hopefully in an uptrend in the markets, it'll start uptrending. And at that point, we'll be actually above it for support. That's what the bull market will look like when it ensues. So in the short term, for us, we're looking at, all right, well, can we at least test the 50 EMA again? For that to happen, that's a 10% gain from where we are right now. So translated to Bitcoin, well, what's a 10% gain for Bitcoin? And I had notes somewhere, I thought. Okay, so it's a $7,100 Bitcoin is what it is. So Benjamin7, thank you so much for the super chat. I appreciate that, man. Thank you. Benjamin says, I hope whoever wins the billion tonight buys tons of Bitcoin, Litecoin. Jokes aside, we never know with some of the Chinese whales, they can still manipulate. Thanks so much, Ben, for the super chats. And yes, whoever wins the billion dollars, somebody might not win actually, but it would be crazy. I tweeted earlier, like, could you even imagine how many cool giveaways we could do on this channel if I won the Powerball. So continuing on, that testing of the 50 EMA, 10% rise in Litecoin would have us testing $7,100 Bitcoin resistance. And that's important because that $7,100 Bitcoin resistance is literally the doorway to our success, to the success that everybody wants, right? It's the top, it's at 786 in the Fibonacci channel resistance that we've been watching for, I feel like forever now, really, since this previous lower high right here. We've been watching the $7,100 to $6,900 area. So if we break above that, that would bring us to around a 10% gain in the market, and it could be the most bullish signal that we could possibly have. So on the, just keep that in mind. If we approach $6,900, break $7,100, it could be, I mean, I think it would be the most bullish signal that we have if we break it and see it act as support. But for Litecoin, that signals a break above the 50 EMA, which again, like we just talked about, would really be a picture perfect beginning to the bull market, finally getting above that stinking area of resistance. So I also had on here a trend breakout, right? So we're in this long-term trend. And this is really the area of resistance that we need to break to, I think, stay above the 50 EMA, which is what we want, which is really breaking this longer term trend that we're in from, I guess, beginning of August right here. So if we break that, that would be 16% on the upside from where we are right now. So translated to Bitcoin, what does that mean? I think it's always important to translate these things. That would mean breaking this previous lower high that we had in Bitcoin, right around $7,300, $7,400. So that would have Bitcoin basically approaching here and breaking it. And that would be another extremely bullish signal, very synergistic with bullish moves on Litecoin. Obviously bullish moves being, this would also be a confirmation of this inverse head and shoulders that we have on the screen. And then from there, we'd obviously be looking at a pullback for support at the bottom or at the top of this trend line right here, and also a pullback of support right here at the top there. So any really strong bullish moves that we get in the market, Bitcoin and Litecoin are just very nice, coinciding with both formations that they're in right now. You can see it on the screen. I love when it does that. It makes it, I don't know, it gives me more confidence for some reason. It's probably unfounded confidence, but it just does. It gives me more confidence. And then, yeah, on the short term, on a 4-hour chart, if you just want to check it out, we kind of have this little, wedge in Litecoin. It's just something I'm eyeing. This is kind of, at the end of these videos, I like to kind of just bring up a 4-hour chart and what I'm looking at on Litecoin when I bring up my phone. So here, this is what my phone looks like when I'm bringing it up. I'm really just eyeing up the bottom of this wedge around 51 and change, and then the top of the wedge 54 and change, because anytime we get a move, right, and you'll see those huge hourly candles, huge 4-hour candles, like right here, this break, one of these. This is what I look for when I'm checking my phone, is one of these, because I'm looking for one trend line to break either or, and then that's when I start watching and kind of just thinking to myself, well, now what? So that's what I'm looking at. That's what I'm looking at right now on Bitcoin and Litecoin. Wanted to do a nice little video. I know I missed a video yesterday, and I had some time right now before just finally relaxing after this ridiculous week. It's been insane, but definitely happy to just see all you here on this Friday night. Appreciate all of you guys for coming. How's everybody doing anyway? So David S says, I want to know who's shorting Litecoin. I'm not shorting Litecoin. Jose Miguel Lopez, what's up, man? Good to see you here. Boston says, smash the like button. I have to agree. I'm really bullish on all of you smashing the like button. Please smash the like button. I can't even talk anymore. I'm done. I'm done for the week. Like I've got nothing left to give. I've got nothing left to give. Oh, I actually want to talk about this. This was a comment. I get tons of like jerky comments on the channel, obviously, but sometimes I like to just highlight them. What's up, Josh Wallace? So I tweeted the other day, I just said, am I right? Because this dude, John Esho, says, if you're still investing in Bitcoin, you are a moron. And then he wrote LOL. I guess he thinks he's funny. He thinks he's funny. And then I said, I feel like the fools are the ones who hate Bitcoin so much, but spend their time watching and commenting on Bitcoin videos. I talk about that all the time because like we get haters in this chat and I'm just like, why are you here? Why are you here? Why is Nouriel Roubini here wasting your, like, why are you wasting your time if you hate this new technology? Doesn't make sense. Bitcoin, Devin says, Bitcoin going to die? I don't think so, man. Bitcoin is not going anywhere. Bitcoin is not going to die. Bitcoin is getting ready to thrive. Bitcoin's getting ready to literally take over markets. It's getting ready to change lives, change governments, change the world. It's just a fact. It's getting to the point where all the people that are working now in the space, I mean, you look at even just the Fidelity news the other day, everybody's getting on board the train. And it's a big train and it's not going to be stopped. And it's happened so quickly, just basically within the last year. Look how much has happened. And it's just going to keep getting stronger. It's going to keep getting bigger. It's going to keep getting more adoption. And with that, many will be rewarded. Look at this messy chart. But think like a VC is what I say. Think like a venture capitalist. There's so many of you that are willing to take risk. Hopefully, risk that doesn't entail spending more money than you can afford to lose, but risk nonetheless. And I want everybody to be rewarded for that risk, because there's nothing more that I like seeing than in, as a cryptocurrency recruiter, right? Helping startups grow. It's nothing I like seeing more than seeing a startup approach an exit, than seeing VCs, 10x their money, right? And I want to see that for all of you as well. Like, there's so many cool people in this space that are attracted to this technology, that are attracted to the community that's built right now within Bitcoin, within Litecoin, whatever crypto you're in. And I just want to see everybody just have a good time. Because honestly, I say it all the time, I started the YouTube channel and I started it, you know where I started it? I started it right here. Like you and I out there, whoever's out there watching right now, we haven't even begun. We haven't even begun to have some fun yet. Like, we haven't even begun. But man, it's going to get really fun. But we lived through all of this together. We've been here through thick and thin. We have. And that's the VC mindset. That's the entrepreneurial mindset. It's never always sunshine and rainbows, right? It's never always just glorious win after glorious win and celebrations. Oftentimes it's more clouds, it's more hurdles than success, and it's more darkness than light while you're going through it. But it's a perfect example of why VC work is risky. It's a perfect example of why being an entrepreneur is risky. It's a perfect example of why investing in Bitcoin or Litecoin is risky. But it's also a perfect example of why, if you have the backbone and if you utilize some caution, you're going to win at the end of the day. So that's kind of my end to this video, technical analysis video. Wanted to just hop in tonight. I hope everybody has a ridiculously awesome weekend, because you deserve it. Because next week is going to be crazy. I mean, the next weeks are going to be crazy. Like I said, the title of this video, the thumbnail of this video, breakout imminent. Look how we're approaching the apex of this large triangle. Look how we're approaching the apex of these smaller triangles, right? Apex right there, apex right there. We're getting there, folks. Hang in there, because whether up or down, it's going to be a wild ride. Get ready. Get ready. So that's all, everybody. I'm out. Time to go just straight up chill out and hang out with Sarah and just have a good start to the weekend. Appreciate all of you for coming by. Appreciate all of you this Friday. And as always, I will see you in the next video. Have a great Friday night, and God bless.